My break, it was amazing. It was amazing. I got a lot of rest. Got a good R&R situation going on, so felt good. Felt good just to get off my feet, get recharged. So
Go anywhere?
say it again.
Did you go anywhere different from here?
Yeah, I went to Turks and Caicos. Got a little beach action. Castaway. That's who I was. Tom Hanks. You know who that is.
I wanted to ask if like a rookie said, "Hey, I'm going on my first All-Star break. How should I approach it? Rest what you would recommend?"
Well, I mean, usually every rookie, I know I did it. I know every rookie does it. Is they go to Miami for All-Star break. So I'm sure that's what most rookies in the NBA have done. But I mean, you got to enjoy your time. You definitely want to get rest, but you know, you got to enjoy yourself, enjoy your life too. So
When Kristaps started playing, you guys went for two big men, like shooting quite a few threes, quite a few threes. What do you think that dynamic is going to be like for the team? And will you guys have to strike a balance, like inside outside balance?
yeah, for sure. Obviously he's a great shooter, hell of a shooter for his size. He's got great touch, and obviously for me, I shoot as well. But it's definitely you have to have a balance. You want to score points in the paint because for our team and who we've been over the past 58 games, or whatever it is, we've been top in the league in points per paint per game. So definitely a little balance.
Marked on Twitter that you're really fired up for these final 24 games. So, is there any goal for final 24 games for you, or what is it that excites you about the end of this?
Playoff push. I mean, that's the goal. I mean, I've been in the playoffs my past 2 seasons. So, anytime, you get past the All-Star break, you get jitters, and it's a fun time because you have an opportunity to continue playing. It's a downhill to the finish line. 24 games in 46 nights. It goes really quick. I think we have like 6 back-to-backs, and we have a game damn near every night, every other night. So, what's not to be excited about?
This doesn't come off as a rudimentary basketball question, but I'm curious how important are shooting spots and like learning your shooting spots, like shooting to them, and perhaps knowing like your teammates shooting spots.
It just helps the cohesiveness of the unit, and also you have something to fall back on. I think that if you understand and know your spots, if you think about a ball player like Chris Paul, he he knows his spots on the court. When in doubt, he's trying to get to the right elbow to shoot his shot, and that's something that he's probably done a million times, and he's very confident in, and he knows that if anything's on the court, I don't know what to do. Shot clock's running out, I can get to that spot, and then vice versa for your teammates. You know where your teammates like the ball, where they're confident shooting and where they're going to be most efficient. So
I've talked to some young players who said that they're amazed once they came in the NBA. They guarded players that they didn't have to see the basket and they could score spots. Is that like a goal that like you kind of needed? Do you feel like you can do that, or like do the players kind of need to get to that point because they can be so small many times you have to be able to just kind of feel for it?
yeah, I mean, you got to have a feel for it. I mean, I'm not there yet, and I want to be. I feel like sometimes I may hit tough shots, but if you think about guys like DeMar DeRozan, he does it every single night. He does it, hand in his face, 3-pump fakes. Like, that's a great player. So, yeah, for sure.
Who's been the biggest influence, you think, as far as teaching you the importance of being an invested teammate? As far as like you're taking, say, really or getting under your wing or calling up Kate for this and such on, just being an investor in the importance of that?
I mean, this goes back to college. I had a teammate in college. His name was Brandon Taylor, and he was, someone that was the most enthusiastic, invested teammate I've ever been around. Someone that was on the court, off the court. Let's hang out. Let's get in the gym. Let's, communicate on the court. Let's, rah rah. Like being invested teammate is, you know, it means you care. Like you're passionate about the sport. You love the game. Like you love, um, everything that you're doing. So for me, I feel like that just comes, from college, but also just naturally because I love the game and I love to, help others and have fun. And, this is, what I've done my whole life. So,
Do you feel like you need to take on a bigger leadership role, changing a little bit and now the last 24 games?
um, I wouldn't say a bigger leadership role. I just feel like, just your attention to detail and sense of focus just goes up, after All-Star break. Super, super important. Um, it's the end of the season, and it's all about what you want. Like, do you want to end April 10th or do you want to continue to play? So, for me, I'm just very, very excited. It's one of the best times of the year. It's when basketball picks up. Every single game matters. When you go home, watch TV, it's always going to be a great game because everybody's playing with passion. And, that's what makes this sport so beautiful.
Are you hammering home that message to guys like Denny and Louis, that sense of urgency needed for this stretch?
No, it's not about a Denny or Rudy thing. It's a Washington Wizards thing. You know what I mean? So, obviously every individual matters, but, it's about the team. It's about, everyone on this ball club, everyone in the organization rallying to a common goal. And, that's what everybody wants to do here. Everybody wants to continue to keep playing and continue to develop. After the trade deadline, we've been a different team. Dropped a game or two, but to be 3-2, and we understand where we're going, and we know what direction we want to continue playing at. So.
Say that to you about All-Star weekend, whether you watched it or not, or top 75. It's nothing successful.
I didn't watch anything. When I'm on break, I don't tune into nothing. TV. I was on the beach, and so yeah, I seen the highlights at the end like today, but that's about it. Yeah, I need a mental flush. I watch so much basketball, so.
If you enjoyed the mentor for a young guy, any of the young guys.
It's weird to honestly like be a mentor because like I'm still like only in my 5th year in the NBA. Like I'm not even a vet. Like to me, a vet is someone that's, 8 to 10 years. You know what I mean? But because that's what I'm used to. And but at the same time, I believe that I'm a knowledgeable person, and people see that. So the little that I know, I just try to help. And Denny or anybody else, like, they love the game too. They have a big passion, and when you share that type of interest and you see people that are like you, you naturally connect because we love the game. So.
That's because the TV caught a cool moment where
Who?
TV at television.
Okay, yeah.
Right, not TV.
Okay, TV. Okay.
Caught a cool moment where I think in a prior sequence you encouraged Corey to take over the shot,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe he that's never missed it. Then a couple moments later, he hit the same shot, and then you gave the high five. So is that just something that's coming naturally to you, or is that something?
No, I mean that's just me. I'm a very optimistic person, and I try not to think so negative. It's so much negativity in the world. You see it on social media. You see it, in everyday life. So, for me, just being positive, that's contagious. I believe happiness is contagious. Playing with joy, and if you can uplift a teammate and make a teammate feel better about themselves, then you're going to have a better chance to win ball games, and everyone's going to care. So, that's all it's about, really. So,
What was practice like today? Just what is a practice like the first one back?
hell, yeah, it's we just play up and down. We just play. Nobody has lungs. I know I didn't touch a basketball, and I'm sure most other guys didn't. But it's always important. It's always a fun practice because you're going to play a lot. We have referees in getting after it. You got Pope yelling at the refs like he always does, and it's just a fun environment. Everyone's having fun and getting after it and just blowing their lungs out. So.
Does that make it back to back? That's first turn.
No, I don't think so. I think one is necessary, but then also when you think about what you just said, having a back-to-back coming up, it definitely prepares you. And having back-to-back after All-Star, I've never had that, but it's gonna be interesting.
All right, Kuz, let's take a couple questions from Zoom. We'll start with Kareem.
Hey, what up, Kuz?
What up?
I hadn't thought about Brandon in a while. That was my guy back in the day.
Right?
He was a good dude. Got two-parter for you. From not first half, but pre-All-Star break. I'm curious, was there something as a group that you guys did that you really liked as a team that you're like, hey, we got to keep doing this for this back stretch? And on the flip side of that, is there something that you didn't like you guys did as a collective that said, okay, we have to clean this up for this back stretch?
That's a tough question. I just think that, like you talk about pre-All-Star, which I'm guessing that's what, post deadline or all in all? What do you mean?
Oh, just kind of all in all, because I do know the kind of dynamic of the team did change after the trade deadline, and there was only a couple games there. So I know that's a little bit different, but just kind of overall, not necessarily just post trade.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look at our season, it's been a roller coaster. Pretty deep roller coaster, but starting out 10-3, I think that we might have got ahead of ourselves a little bit, in the first group that we had here. We were rolling, and it felt really, really good. Obviously, had a lot of buzz, and then we just took our foot off the gas a little bit, and I think our record kind of really reflects that. And we went through some things. We went through some injuries, some went through COVID, just like anybody else in the NBA. Everybody's dealt with that. But, once it kind of went left, it was hard to get back right. And obviously needed some changes. And, for us after the deadline, we just, this is all we got. We know the cards that we've been dealt. Not sure when KP is going to play. Obviously, Brad's out the rest of the year. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't let it matter. You have to understand that, we have enough. We still have 15 players here, and everybody can contribute, and everybody has the ability and capability to play well consistently. And, that's what we have to show. So, I believe that we can do it. And I believe, why not us? You know what I mean? So, that's kind of our mindset.
Cool. I appreciate you.
Yep.
We'll go over to Chris Miller.
What up, though?
Yo.
While you were on your castaway vibes, I'm curious from a mental standpoint, did you detach from the game or were you kind of in self-reflection mode of the first 58?
So a little bit of both. Um, you always want to detach yourself, and I think that's very, very important, not only for basketball and what we do. Obviously, we have a high pressure job, um, but at the same time, I think it's always important to detach to something you love, um, you know, so you can find that balance. And when you can come back to it, you're full of joy. Like today, I couldn't wait to get to the gym. Obviously, I was on the sand somewhere, but I couldn't wait to get back to the team and just be around guys, because obviously that's what you love to do. But at the same time, um, you definitely want to self-reflect and just understand your mission and understand, um, you know, what have you done? What could you've done? How can you improve? And I think that's very, very vital to everything that you do in life. Self-reflection is huge.
Just one follow up. This might be hard for you to answer kind of like in real time as the season is going on, but Kyle, how would you kind of describe the growth of your leadership?
Um, I think at the beginning of the year it was a little different because obviously, having Brad, having a lot of vets here, it was more of a, we were kind of more of a collective, you know what I mean? Everybody would chime in, and obviously with a lot of vets gone, Brad gone, we have a lot of young guys, a lot of quiet guys, not necessarily quiet, but I just feel like for me, I just want to spread my joy for the game. I want to encourage guys. I want to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. So um, somebody's got to do it, and I've always been that way my whole life. So why not?
Appreciate it, man. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
We will finish up with Neil.
Hey Kuz, glad that you had a relaxing time on the beach. I'm curious for you, obviously you've had a bigger role than, last couple seasons to start this season, but now, you're kind of propelled into the 1A, 1B role with KP. Is there anything that you talk to Brad about, hey, if I'm trying to get out of this double team, what am I trying to do here, or anything like that?
Not really. I don't really look at all the 1A, 1B. Just play basketball. I feel like, earlier in my career when I was a Laker, um, my third year, I got so caught up of, trying to be like, part of a big three and do this and do that. Like, you read what the media says and, media asks you, can you be a part of this or whatever? But I mean, none of that stuff really matters. At the end of the day, you just got to go out. You got to play hard. You got to play like you're never going to play again. So, um, I kind of, leave that stuff out of it because it just complicates the game. So, for me, I want to come in. Obviously, I know I have a big role. I know that, I'm one of the main playmakers right now, and it's up to me to, make others better and, um, just help lead. So, I'm excited for it.
And going into the break, you talked about it's refreshing to get back to playing for each other, things like that for the next man. How have you, I know it's early, but how have you assessed that that's maybe continued on through the break now?
I mean, that's mandatory. I mean, everybody has to do it. It's, if you want to play winning basketball, that's how it's got to be. It's not, my turn, take a shot, or I got a mismatch, I got to go. Like, no, let's play basketball. Make the right play. Cheer on your teammate when you're on the bench. be happy for the next man, and let's just go try to win some games.
Thanks, Kuz. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, Kuz, all set. Appreciate you.
How was practice?
It was good, a very spirited practice. It's one of those things where after All-Star break, the guys have had, 5 or 6 days off. You just got to get them moving, get them up and down. And then best part of just being competitive. I think that's just shake the dust off a little bit, but get them up and down as much as we can. They all want to get out and compete. So good energy in the gym, good vibe. I think we were able to accomplish that.
What is Kristaps?
No, he wasn't. He after the break, we were concerned about just throwing him out there. So still kind of ramping things up for him. He looked good in what he did, the 1v1 type stuff. So I think we'll reevaluate where he is tomorrow and then go from there. But it was a good sign to see him do a little bit more today.
Is it safe to conclude that he will not play on Friday?
I don't want to jump to that conclusion, but I think it's still day to day right now.
You regard him as more of a 5 or a 4?
We go back and forth on that. I don't want to, peg him one way or the other. I think he can play both positions. He's had success at both positions. I think, from an offense perspective, his ability to stretch the floor, play off the bounce a little bit, post up, gives you the versatility to just put him out there. And small ball game, it's easy to say he's the 5. You can cross match a lot, I think defensively. But, I don't want to put him necessarily in a box and say he's going to be our 5, he's going to be our 4. Once we get him cleared to, full contact and get him back in the fold, I think that'll shake itself out.
Speaking of that, between him and Cruz, they start together and play a lot together. They both take a pretty high volume of threes for their size. What kind of dynamic will that present for your offense? And will they have to strike a balance or the inside?
I think there is a balance to that. I mean, I think it's the quality of threes that's most important. I think overall we'd like to see the numbers go up, but it's the right type of threes. I think both guys can do that, whether it's pick and pop, post to play make. I think those are options as well. We can use them as facilitators in the pocket and pick and rolls, but I don't think it's one of those things where we're just going to be 5 out spacing, all game and take contested pull-ups. I think that's the thing. The way the ball has moved lately, we've seen an uptick in our overall efficiency, but I'd like to continue that trend and find the right types of shots.
You think Porzingis can play with Gafford and or Bryant?
Yeah, I think so. I think at times it'll be good for us. I think downsizing with him at the 5 is good for us. So I think it gives us a lot of flexibility. I'm not going to commit one way or the other right now, but I think to have that dynamic is unique. It's a unique pairing, but we've seen it work.
And Kristaps, is he doing one-on-one against coaches?
Against coaches, yes.
After the Nets game, you mentioned really good gain the trust of players and coaching staff as well. Is that kind of this final step of this reintegration?
I think I personally I'm beyond that. I think it's it's a good sign for him. We went with that group late in the game, and we stayed with that group. So it just shows a lot of trust, and not only in him but also the collective that was out there. He did a lot of good things in that fourth quarter. Big shots, big plays. So I think it's a good sign, but I think he's been well past that threshold for me for a while.
And making those threes, how does that benefit the team, not just really, but the rest of the team?
Well, once again, it changes the dynamic. He's not just a mid-range or an ISO guy. He can stretch the floor, whether it's pick and pop or space to the corners. It just gives us a little bit more space. Guys can, play off the bounce, and he can be a facilitator in that regard, or he can also be the recipient. So it does help open the floor up quite a bit.
Just to clarify, so Kristaps hasn't been cleared for contact yet, right?
Not 5-on-5. We're just trying to build him up 1v1, 3-on-3, just the normal reintegration we've done with all of our guys when they've been out for this amount of time.
I was asking Kyle Kuzma about just the shooting spots, how important those are. How important are they for a coach to kind of be aware where guys are most comfortable?
Yeah, no, it's something we have to continue to look at and evaluate. It's not just what's good for the player, it's what's good for the group. How can we find those spots for each individual? So you're mindful of what direction guys like to turn, when we're coming off the pin downs, with post ups, which block do they prefer? Obviously, what dominant hand they want to play off of. All those things are they kind of go into that whole picture when you're developing not only your overall structure, but targeted offense for each individual. It was good. We could all say it wasn't long enough, but I didn't do anything, go anywhere. Just kind of tooled around with the family, and it was just nice to be home, be present, and just really low key.
Everything just stops abruptly like that. How tough is it for you to downshift?
Well, this is a small break. I think everyone looks forward to a restful few days, but you're always kind of looking at something, watching edits, film, preparing for the games that are coming. Obviously reintegrating a new component. You have to kind of look at some things there. So there's always something to do. You just want to kind of bide your time and portion it out so you still can kind of relax, recharge, and take a mental break as well.
Get all of you guys here.
All the players?
Yeah, all the players not participate.
Yes, everybody was present. Yeah.
All right, Coach, let's take some questions from Zoom. We'll start with Chris Miller.
Hey, Wes, the way that Rui kind of closed out the game in Brooklyn, especially in the fourth quarter, could you see some carryover maybe today and maybe even going into San Antonio? Just the kind of joy that he kind of played with closing out that game.
It was a good sign to see. And I think that was, part of the messaging for him. I think he's eclipsed, the hurdles that we've kind of had to endure. He's in a good place, and he's been productive for us. Toward the end of that game, I liked keeping him, in his matchup against LaMarcus Aldridge. With the size we had on the floor, allowed us to switch defensively. But then putting him in pick and rolls, and he picked and popped, shot a three, got to the rim, he rolled. That was a pivotal play for us. That dynamic was good. So I think the more he can do that, be a part of it, it not only helps his development, his growth, but the other guys on the floor, they're pulling for him just as much as he pulls for them. So I think it's great.
Do you see another ramp up for him in these final 24, i.e., more minutes, lineup change, another position? Do you just see maybe another evolution for him this?
Well,
this
I think we'll use these 24 games. We have the ability to toy with some things with putting KP in the lineup. But I think once again, the flow of the game tells us a lot. He hasn't played a lot of five, a lot of center, and using him late game as our center, it was great. That's what I thought helped win us the game. So I think there's a different dynamic, and obviously integrating KP is going to add to that. So it gives us a lot of flexibility. It's exciting to have another guy that you kind of move around, and whether he's playing the 4, the 5. We've done so with Kuz. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. It's unique. So it's just another thing that we can say we can go to if needed.
We'll go over to Kareem.
Hey, Wes, welcome back. There was you just said real quick, the message for Rui, but was there a overall message to the group for this last final stretch?
Well, I mean, the messaging is to, look at what's coming down the road. We have 24 games, I think, in a 46-day window. So there's a huge progression or huge compression rather of games with 6 back-to-backs, so 12 of those games are going to be back-to-back games. That's quite dense. When you think about leading up to the break, we had 7 back-to-backs on the season. So the game is going to come fast and furious. We can't afford once again to try to ease our way into this. We have to come out of the break, with the feet on the ground and hopefully with a little bit of momentum. That win in Brooklyn hopefully gives us a little momentum, but it's going to be challenging. There's some very, very tough opponents within that stretch. So we're going to try and do the best we can to get off at the right foot and, keep that momentum.
I know I know the roster obviously looks much different post trade than before, but I'm curious, was there any facet or anything that you guys were doing overall as a group pre All-Star that you're like, yes, we need to continue doing this. I really like this. Let's make sure we keep on top of this going forward. And on the flip side, is there something from the first, I don't want to say half because obviously it's more than half, but pre All-Star that you're like, okay, we have to clean this up if we're going to make this final push?
All right, two things. I mean, the ball movement, guys are playing for each other. I think that's important. I think that we have to continue with that spirit. On the flip side, we have to do a better job defensively. I think, the last few games we've seen some of that, but once again, we have to be consistent in that area. I think if we're really serious, with the remaining 24 games, that has to be part of our identity. We've talked about it all season. We have to get back to doing it, and not just doing it for a quarter or doing it for a half, trying to do it for the most part of 48 minutes as best we can.
Perfect. Appreciate you.
We'll go to Neil.
Hey, Coach, I know you don't like to, put a calendar on anything, but given that KP still has to go through 3-on-3 contact and 5-on-5 contact, is it fair to say it's unlikely that he plays in this upcoming back-to-back, or is there still a chance?
I don't necessarily want to close the door on it. I'd say right now he's probably day to day. But, I had a workout today, had 2 workouts today, actually, and we'll see how he responds tomorrow. We'll hopefully have a little bit more information on where he stands and how he feels. But, I can always hope, but I want to make sure that, he's exactly where he needs to be when we reintegrate him into the 5-on-5.
And when you say 1v1 with coaches with contact, is that still different than 1v1 against an NBA player?
So to some degree, but I think it checks the box in that regard. It's part of the ramp up we've used with a number of players. And then, if we can get 3-on-3, and then obviously 5-on-5 would be where he's, in full practice with contact. So it's just another step. It's more than he did before. And, every day we want to try and, get to another threshold.
And then for Brad, I'm curious, just how much is he still around the team? Is he going to also, travel with you guys on different things? And what benefit does that add?
Oh yeah, he was here today, as far as practice, doing some rehab. It's always good to have him in the building. I think his presence is one thing, but have his voice as well. He'll travel at times. I don't want to commit and say he's going to be on every road trip, but I think it's important for him to be around as much as possible. It's good for the group. And it helps him, once again, kind of keep guys together. It's also great for morale, I think to see your leader, your best player involved, invested in what we're doing. That's meaningful.
Thanks, Coach. Welcome back.
And we will wrap up with Wayne.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. I heard you said that you got some family time, but I was just curious, what self-care were you able to get in during the All-Star break?
Got a little sleep. We're able to do some of the checklist items that I've neglected over the last 6 months at home. So that's part of the self-care, believe it or not, when you're married. But no, nothing special. It was just good to kind of, wake up and do what you please, and whether it's, drop off and pick up at school, date night here and there. So it was good. Very relaxing.
That's good. And lastly, Coach, with that win in Brooklyn and then looking forward to these last 24, what about this roster excites you just going down the stretch?
Well, I think just that. I mean, we have 24 games and you never look past the game in front of you. But, to see where we were, where we are, and, you still have not yet put this group completely together. So there's that anticipation of we've had good moments. We've played, pretty good ball, and can we sustain and continue to grow on that with also knowing there's another big piece, that will hopefully soon be available. So that all of that's exciting, and to see where we finish is one of those things that we I feel like we can control our own destiny. We're not gonna look past anybody. But, we have a stretch of games where if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll give ourselves a chance to be in the mix.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
All right, Coach, all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.